supposed to appear on YouTube somewhere if you have a connection or not, but there's a window that's supposed to show a chat box. So it is, yes, it is, yes, on YouTube at the moment. Do you have any questions, Fernando, that you would like to ask or something that you would like to share?
Oh, just to that this week we were reading the the weekly portion, last week weekly portion,
Mm-hmm.
to go on a to go out on a battle, kick it, right? and uh, and also to about the mitzvot.
Yes.
It is a quite difficult reading because it can be taken as literal, but of course when you read the Book of Sohar and others, you can remove this shell, right?
Yes.
But what do you think about this? Like, about this all these prescriptions, and how do you look at this today?
About the this weekly portion or in general?
Yes, yes. In general, and about this weekly portion, like the following woman and that story that you need to clean it up and all the ideas and about the mitzvot as well. I don't know what do you think about this.
Thank you for the question. The whole Torah is written in from the, how do you say, in one human. So there is no, in a way, separation as we tend to read, let's say, the text and our names and each one does appearances of different stories on the stage, but the whole Torah, all of it, is being said or is being told about one human. And also this weekly portion, you mean Parashat Kitetze, to go when there's a war going on? This one you mean?
Exactly. Yes.
Yes, yes, Kitetze. Yes, it is the, because sometimes there are days or there are years that are, this is the manifestation is a war. So what happens? And we were mentioning also this in a previous conversation, because war or battle for many years, or it's constant operation. It's like if we can mark the operation or the acting as one and resting as a zero, or being, just being, as a zero. So the war is just tack, 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 execution of many, many operations and doing and going into tanks, going into airplanes, communication, check, check, check. So there's a sense in the storm of the war, there is a sense of great happening or great doership, and there's a tendency to believe that we are the doers, that we are going into airplanes and we are operating the systems, and this is due to our own merits and abilities and so. And this is quite interesting because the war is like an effect of a, how do you say, war in a way comes as a great fire. It's just a great blast of fire operating, acting out. And suddenly comes a verse that says that you will siege, if you will siege, and you will come to a situation in which you will siege a city for many days, and you will notice a fruit tree. Don't take your axe and cut this fruit tree, because from this fruit tree you can eat. Why suddenly comes such a verse in this text or context of a war? And sometimes war is not a matter of a choice. This is sometimes what reality brings about, and this is what it is. And the access point is that not to take an axe, not to cut the tree, because this is being. So even if in the greatest moments greatest moments. Sometimes it can take years, yes. Second World War was 6 years, so even in those days of war and this constant operating and acting out and moving by commands and by operations, there are moments of being, and this is one of those moments. To notice this is a fruit tree. It's not, again, this is very interesting distinction. It's not a fruit that makes, it's not a tree that makes fruit. This is not a process. Yes, it's not a tree that makes fruit, but it's a fruit tree. Fruit tree is the tree of life. And when there's a noticing of the tree of life, there's no tools that are needed. There's no need in axe to take an axe and to cut the tree and to shut down the tree, but suddenly to notice in the storm of the war the being, because the war is a great act. Yes, it's a process in space and time. And there is a tendency to believe that while engaging with the war, that we are the doers. And here comes, in a way, a warning sign. We are not the doers. Sometimes there are days or years of war. This is what there is. But the fruit tree, yes, is just being there with its fruit. And it's possible even in the days of the war, in the years of the war, to notice the tree and notice also the mode of being and not just the mode of becoming, which is marked by the war. Because the war is also a consequence or a demonstration, depends on how you want to look at it. There's increasing levels of developing in technologies and suddenly the world or part of the world are finding themselves in wars. So it is like, if you want to read it in this way, the war is like the sixth day. Extreme development. When the world arrives at the war, it's also extreme development. And in the storm of extreme development, there's a fruit tree. It's like the seventh day. You don't use an axe, you don't cut, you don't do any action. This is only being. And we see, in a way, in this portion, like two pictures. What happens in the manifestation? There's a war, and what is in the mode of being. And not be mistaken, not to take the war as an absolute. Yes, this is only appearance, not to take it as an absolute. I think it's a great teaching, this weekly portion.
Yes, beautiful. Thank you. It
Well,
is that idea about the I am, like it's not trying to let's say to transform the I am, the simple being into a system.
yes, 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 yes. We were mentioning this because there was like two questions that came on Discord, one from Yanis, another one from Shlomo, but both were evolving around the same topic. Yanis was asking about the behavior of Ruth or the advice of Naomi. First, Naomi advised her to go to the threshold where Boaz was sleeping or resting the night and sleep next to his feet. And when Ruth came home in the morning, Ruth came home in the morning, Naomi told her, sit my daughter still and see it's going how it's going to evolve or appear. And in a way, we see an act. Ruth goes to the threshold where Boaz is resting the night, and there's like a communication, but there's a limit of this communication. And then she returns home to Naomi and then sits still. If the action or the communication is one, there's a sit still, or the communication or the meeting with Boaz, it's like the 6th day or extreme development. Then comes the 7th day or resting, and she said, sit, my daughter, or be still and see how it unfolds. So there's an act, there's the one, and then be still and 0. Like in a half a shekel, Shlomo was asking about half a shekel, why half and so. Yes, there is a donation, there is a participation, yes, but only a half, because the rest is to the divinity, to the other, to the space, which the emptiness. And Felipe also was mentioning a similar perspective in the book of Esther. The king offers the queen until the half of a kingdom. Why half of a kingdom? The half which is revealed. He cannot, in a way, grant the hidden. So there are many entries, but all of those entries are reflecting the same idea, that we are not the doers or the makers.
And also that we don't know, right, JT?
Yes.
While you were speaking, I was thinking that about the stories that we tell to ourselves, thinking that we know what happened or what is coming, or the narrative.
Yes.
We only have half of the narrative, in fact, because we are limited. Let's say our vision, our binary vision, are limited to space and time. So everything that we try to explain and put into a box, it is only half of the truth.
Yes. Yes,
Because
this is it.
we don't
Precise.
know.
Yes. Yes. How much we try, it's not just to understand the truth or the story, how much we try or we think that we can act faster, better, cleaner, whatever. It's whatever we do, whatever, it's only a half. And we can never be more, we can be this being, there is no condition in it, yes? But in acting, whatever we do around acting or operating, if you accumulate or collect, it's only a half. We can never do more than a half. Because people think that if they will work many hours, 14 hours per day, they will multiple, let's say, their salary, their income, their position. But it doesn't matter how many hours people are working per day. It's only a half. Because the rest is hidden. Our thoughts, not that we are the thinkers, but the thoughts, let's say in a more precise way, the thoughts are also appearance. The brain cannot receive an appearance, only appearance. This is why we are so limited in the way we think or perceive reality. Because what is perceived, yes, is only the manifested. What is not had been shown or came into manifestation is not perceived. So it's very, very limited. We are counting on the visual sense a lot, and specifically in our times when there's like visuals on everything, video on a mobile, video on PC, when you go to, let's say, to offices, there's screens, commercials, everything is just with screens. And so we are counting on it as an absolute source, yes, for truth, for information, but it's only a manifestation of an idea. So it is limited. There's a beautiful relation. The sages found it in the name of Jacob. The value of Jacob, if you want to look at it, yes, is 182. And you can compose the same sum 182 by writing twice the name Elohim. The name Elohim, each name is 86. So 2 is 172 plus the 5 letters of each name, Elohim. This is, yes, 182. And Elohim is the manifested. It's only a half. It's only a half. Any question, Fernando? There's a beautiful sentence also in the Course of Miracles that says that the brain, yes, translate, yes, to the body, which is a part. I mean, the brain, our brain is also an organ, a part of the body. So there is no external input. While we think that we think, or any input that goes, it is going in because it is a closed system. It is a closed system. This is why it's good to converse, to get a new input. Yes, to be open. Yes, to be open and listen. Our trip here, yes, in the manifestation is a little trip, yes, and because there's a sense that if we take more, if we consume more, and it is changing anything. But there is this I am, some people call it I am, or the being state, which is not influenced or detached by this movement of space and time, by this kinetic going on. The being state is never interrupted. It's never interrupted. Being state has
Yes,
no...
Miriam.
Yes, Fernando?
No, I was thinking about this dynamic, this dual dynamic, because we desire things, and even in the root of the word desire, I think that implies that you lack something, you uh, that you miss a part. You need something to fulfill, to feel whole. So
Mm-hmm.
you desire something that is outside. And this dynamic is kinetic, like you said, and it goes faster because you take one thing and you see that you do not feel whole. So you go to another thing and to another, and this is development.
Mm-hmm.
We are always searching for this wholeness, uh, and we put even God outside because we are looking for this wholeness. But in fact, it already is, this truth. It is not outside, and this is I think that is the challenge, you know, to really sit and stay uh, and not to fall into this fallacy of this system, but we used to repeat the system. I don't know why, but we repeat it again and again. In the future, I will be whole, or in the future, I will be at heaven. But
And
why
now,
not now?
yes, yes,
Why-
and now, yes. Yes. The future. Once you hear this word, the future, it's going to be promising. This is how the brain motivates us to move out. Yes, because what is lacking now, and nothing is lacking. But it also it's not us that are desiring for anything. It's just the source. Yes, is moving through us, and it will run any scenario. We don't have a free choice in this. We don't. Because the eyes are seeing, the ability of the eyes to see, we're seeing objects, there's a tree, there's a river, and so on. So we assume that all what is happening or animated because there is a sense of autonomy to the bird or to the geese, but everything is animated from one source. It's just the visuals and the sense of the brain interpret interpreting. Yes. So the interpretation is a dual system, and then all the input that comes to the body is a, of a dual nature. There's him and me, there's the neighbor and me, and so on. So all the information, interpretation that is delivered by the brain is of a dual. This is the only thing that it does. This is the filter in which we see or experience the world. But this is an awkward lens, yes, through which everything comes as how do you say, rivalry and combat and competition and equivalating, comparing, judging, yes, because it comes through the brain. And this is an interpretation. It's like an awkward filter. and it runs freely. It just dwells inside, runs really nuts inside. There is a beautiful moment here because it, yes, to compare is already two, yes. Good afternoon, Abigail. We're so happy to see you here. To compare it means already two. But this is what it does. The eyes, look at the eyes. Once there's a detecting of another one walking, yes, it means there's the one and there's me and the comparing, even without intending to compare or to judge, comes a reflection, yes, from this one walking, yes, and there's a judgment. Everyone who enters the room, suddenly there's a judgment. Even if we don't want, this is what the system does. There's interpretation. Is this one is a hostile? Is it friendly or so? This is what it does. This is a biological, how do you say, response. Also, it happens in the animal kingdom. If there's a cat sitting at the porch, comes another cat, there's estimation going on. Happy to see you, Abigail. Is this cat friendly? It has intention or so? Yes, conversation can bring it to unity, yes, because it stops the rationality of the brain. Because the brain is a calculating machine. Calculating, it just goes and calculate. Show the brain an object, it will calculate bigger, small, color, deep red, a deep pink or so, deep green. This is what it does, calculating all the time. And the only way to stop this kinetic running all the time, running, shooting, the only way to ease or to stop this machine from calculating, comparing, and so telling stories, it's a robot telling stories, yeah? Is by conversing, yes, and then there's peace in it. Counting on the brain itself. Good morning, Jill. We're so happy to see you. You can unmute and, yes, join us. You can unmute Jill and Abigail and join us, yes? This is why they are saying it's not good for the man to be alone. Yes, because the brain is running, and once there's another friend or colleague, there's a little conversation and everything is so eased because it just neutralizes the system. It's like a bomb, to hold a bomb, constant bomb inside, and this bomb wants to explode. It doesn't matter on what or where and what condition. This is what the brain does. Just like a car engine, just explosive. And the only Shabbat Shalom to you. And the only thing that in a way eases it is this volcano inside, is a conversation. And sometimes it doesn't. Here we meet and speak about it. Cindy, so long we have not seen you. Shabbat Shalom, so long. Abigail, ask about you. So happy to see you. So it's good. Yesterday or so, there's a heat. It's hot, yes, and it was. Yesterday I went into the elevator. A neighbor held the elevator. I did not expect that she will hold the door. And I said, "Hello, how do you do?" And I said also, "I'm so exhausted." So, and just to be able to say that, Yes, it just it's just a relief because you don't have to how to say operate the inner guard inside. You can say it's exhausting or yeah, and it gives a lot a lot of relief. So I asked her about the cats. They're growing. I mean, they host 3 cats in their little apartment, and I asked how the cats are doing. And she said, "Oh, there was one of the cats. He was always running away from the window. Once he climbed, a few times he climbed to our apartment." And she said, "You know, there was a cat. He was always running from us. And one day," she said, "he went to the neighbor's apartments through a parallel window, and from there," she said, "he just," and I said, "He went to his world." And she said, "Yes, he went to his world," meaning he passed. So it might seem to someone as a non valuable conversation because one of the neighbors say it's hot and it's exhausting, and another one was saying how the cats are doing and telling the story or sharing that this cat finally jumped. And to some people it might consider a zero. It doesn't give anybody anything. There's no information, there's no likes in it, there's no pictures in it, but it is a true point. It's a 0 point. Because what happens all the time when people meeting, and it happens, and this is a very, and please feel free to unmute and speak. Cindy, Abigail, Jill, Fernando, feel free. The holiday season is coming, yes, in 2 weeks. They got gonna celebrate Rosh Hashanah, and then there's it's season of holiday because it's Rosh Hashanah 2 days, and then 9 days later Yom Kippur, Day of Atonement, and then 5 days later Sukkot, 7 days in the Sukkah, and then there's Simchat Torah, the happening of the Torah. So it's a season. It's almost 21 days of very, very intensive holiday season, and people are hosting others or being hosted, or one hosting and being hosted, most of the time in families. And this is a very, very, very intense period. Abroad, we just experienced this once in Christmas, so it's like 2 days Christmas once a year, and it's a lot of pressure. Once a year in Christmas, we were having a big experience in Germany. It was a lot of pressure. So this is once a year, and here it is 3 weeks intense, all the time meeting, eating. And there's not only those 3 weeks, because usually people go every weekend to the parents or so, to the in-laws, every week. And also there's like weddings, and then like children, babies parties and bar mitzvah and so on. So it's too much of how do you say, too much of friction, because there's no much space. So it is every week. There's tension, and there's a whole. And I saw an ad that they make a workshop for people to rest before they going to the hula hoop of the holiday season, because people already in a pre tension. They're already charged, and they need to relax because they need to operate. They would like to host, and they have to cook and to set the tables and to play happy host. Sometimes inside you don't feel happy host. Sometimes you don't have the power to do this, But people never admit what can I do and what I can't. And the more they meet with the family, there's more a sense of want to show off that I can be a great host, that I can cook better. And sometimes to cover the inconvenience, sometimes there are members of the same family which are not aligned with each other. And to cover this not getting along, they try to put more food on the table, like a fig leaf, to cover that it's not nice and nobody wants to be there. And after I saw this ad, the next day in the supermarket came a mother and her daughter, and she told her daughter, she was going in front of the supermarket cart, and the daughter holding the cart, and she said, I would like to rest before I start this mess. So you see, there's an ad for people to rest before the holiday season. People already, before it starts, people are just getting full load of depression, what they're gonna cross, and it's very, very hot. And why? Because people are not saying the truth. It's stressy. I can't do it. I don't want to do it. There is another way. I would like to withdraw. Yes, this is only on Thanksgiving. Yes, here it is every Shabbat. People are meeting. It brings a lot of tense. Sometimes, yes, it's better. Family is not everything. Yes, and maybe it's a starting point. Yes, sometimes, but sometimes, And if it brings so much depression and so much anxiety, yes, and so much load, and, what is the peak, according to what hospitals report, what is the peak seasons of hospitalization? Yes, weekends and holidays. The whole pressure is funneled into hospitals. Sometimes there's like events. Yes, people are being pushed. Yes, people are being pushed to the corners. Not everything, because also people live like in their heads, in the thoughts, in the brain, that they imagine themselves a very green picture of a great family and fraternity. It's not like that. And everybody's following and everybody's watching the same movies. Just to give you an example of Christmas, because it's well documented, and there's like infinite movies about Christmas, infinite. And they also, from now, they're starting prompting the next season, which is Christmas. So there's like many movies, and with the theme of winter and snow and hats and scarves and present and broken hearts and united hearts and so on. And people already 3 months before are charged by watching those movies. And they get this input of this beauty, which what you can see on the screen is probably a work of 500 people just to be able to show one frame in the snow with, with special makeup, special hairdresser and special sound effects. And they come to life, that the bare moment, with this expectation in the brain of this is how it's supposed to be seen, and people should behave like according to a written text. And with this message, each and every one comes from a different angle. Who knows what they watch, what they're charged with. And they come to the table, and there's, how do you say, there's a drop. Yes. Yes. And people come with those expectations to the table, and it falls. Because people come with a prefixed picture of, or a prefix storyline in their heads. And in the moment, everything is different, because this is the moment, this is now, this is the being. and suddenly they're crashed because there's like meeting others people's expectation. So there's a lot of pressure. And why? You can admit the truth first before you say the truth for somebody else. Yes, first to ourselves. I would like to have this time, with a bit of space, and but there's a sense of this family, and it's not against family in general, but it's just the stress, the amounts of stress, expectations, and building up stages, and it pumps. Whatever happens is that every year there's a more pumping of the tribal, because what happens is, what is a family is a tribe, and they want to show or to appear, and as what for, nobody knows. Plus, that let's not forget that family brings or gives people a deep sense of identity, which identity never exists, but it supports a great lie. And people are willing to take a lot of stress, a lot of burden to prevent truth, because it will break everything. Thank you, Sydney, for the article that you sent us. Any questions? Abigail, Cindy, Jill, sharing, Fernando, would you like to share anything? Please feel free. Sorry, there is no need to pull a face or to make an act. Admit the inner truth, and it's lighter, because it creates all of those productions. Yes, the great tables with the great infinite supermarket lines, it's to pull and act. It brings a lot of stress. There's no need in it. Life is not overproduction. Life being is not overproduction. Production is a duration, appearance in space and time. Questions? So what people celebrate in Rosh Hashanah or the New Year, the appearance, so to speak, of a new slice of space and time. This is what it is about. What is the celebration of Rosh Hashanah, the head of the year? There's a noticing of another slice, or the potential of happening. This is what the celebration is about. Celebrating the unknown, the potential, which will be streamed into space and time, and then we could, or we would be able to see a process. So it is interesting, because in English we say New Year. In Hebrew it's Rosh Hashanah, the head of the year, which is what? Which is hinting that if there is a head to the year, it's like a baby. If there's a head to the year, there's also end to the year. So there is a head to time, and there's also end to time. So what is the celebration about? Noticing the matrix of space and time. There's a new matrix is coming, an unknown matrix. Next year, in this time of the year, we could maybe tell a story or have a few pictures, yes? What happened this year? So now we're standing in front of the unknown because it did not yet happen. But none of us, yes, or whatever is happening or presented in our life is our true nature, which is being. Give you an example. It is too sunny to go outside, so you sit and take the guitar and just, you cannot, there's no much doing, yeah. So you sit with one chord, just pinch it with the finger or so, and it just resonate with sound, and then it just relaxes somehow, because the brain is an irritating machine. It always wants to be invested in projects, yes. So the being or non-doing or sit still, it's basically dead sentence for the brain. Why? Because we're not using it. Do you understand how it works? Why the brain always rejects be still or do nothing? Why there's an inner resistance for sit still, be still? Because for the brain, it means a death sentence. It's not being used to calculate it, and it considered this situation is considered to the brain as a death sentence. This is why it always push itself in the front and shouts, "I'm here, I'm calculating, I can compare everything, I can calculate everything, I can show you that he is mistaken and she is mistaken, and let's find faults." And this is what it does, and also creates a sense. Let's not forget it. This is the brain that creates us a false sense of identity and doership. This is the great master. This is why the verse in this weekly portion says that you shall see a city for many days and you'll notice a fruit tree. Don't lift your axe on it, because this tree will give its fruit. This is life. This is zero. Also from the nomenon always comes new life. This is the point. So, dear friends, if there aren't any questions at this moment, we would like to wish every one of you Shabbat Shalom, Shavua Tov, good week, good Saturday, beautiful season, and great recovery for Yanis. I hope we shall see her in the near future. Thank you so much. Shalom, shalom, and see you soon on Monday. Toda rabba, להתראות. Thank you so much.